Good morning and welcome to Real Talk with Claudia. I'm Claudia Ellis, owner of Claudia's Decor, and today we're talking about the hustle culture lies. Some of you may think, what the heck does she mean by hustle culture? Do you ever feel like if you don't hurry up, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, that you're already behind? That already makes you feel like you don't even want to do the thing because you're already behind. So let's unpack some of that so that we can actually hear the lies behind it, okay? I think a lot of us started our businesses because we loved creating. We loved the creativity, the beauty, the connection, the joy, the possibility. For a lot of us, this started as a dream, a side hustle, a creative outlet, a safe place, an escape from stress, or maybe even hope for something more. But somewhere along the way, the dream started becoming heavy. Good morning, Shona. Have you ever felt guilty resting? Have you ever laid down at night exhausted, but still felt like you didn't do enough? Have you ever looked around your craft room and thought, what happened in here? Because listen, I know I'm not the only one. Shona says yes all the time. And the thing is, people tell us running a business is hard. We hear that all the time, but they don't explain how it's hard. They don't explain the emotional pressure, the nervous system overload, the comparison, the overstimulation, the scarcity mindset, the identity struggles, the community influences, or what happens when business slowly starts consuming your life. So today, that's what we're going to unpack. Today, we're going to answer some of those questions. We're going to make things that feel heavy for you maybe seem a little lighter, maybe giving you permission to create your business your way, because that matters. That absolutely matters. So when you started making things, when you started designing things, when you started seeing that other people were willing to buy your handmade items, there's a dopamine hit that comes with that. There's a pleasure center that actually makes you hopeful. A lot of people have made this their full-time job. It provides meaningful income for their families. A lot of people have made this a business and have been successful at it. And those are the people that give us, that are trying to do the same thing, hope. And I want to pass that on to you, okay? When the dream starts to feel heavy, at first building a business feels exciting. You're inspired. You're creating, you're dreaming, you're hopeful. You're imagining possibilities. Then slowly, without realizing it, every spare second starts belonging to the business. You're thinking about content constantly. You feel guilty resting. You're mentally always working. You have an inability to shut your brain off. You're comparing yourself constantly, not even consciously. Your subconscious starts pointing out what somebody else is doing, how they're doing it better, how they're constantly showing up. You don't see any of the work that led to this. You're seeing their highlight reel. You're seeing everything that they're doing today, but you didn't see everything that happened before. You don't see all the building that happened before. Hi, Bettina. So we have to remember that. You're waking up already overwhelmed. And we don't want that for you. We don't want that for you. We don't want that for me. We don't want that for anybody. And you know what's wild? You can be sitting on the couch watching TV and still mentally be at work. You're thinking, I need to post. I need to answer messages. I need to edit videos. I need to order supplies. I need to work on listings. I need to do more. Good morning, Jan. Cheers to your coffee. And eventually, your brain forgets how to rest. You don't want that. You don't want that for yourself. You don't want that for your family. You don't want to be present physically, but checked out mentally. Okay? The psychology behind it, your nervous system staying activated, constantly feeling behind, social media creating urgency, brain associating rest with danger. The psychology, your brain starts living in survival mode. And survival mode sounds like, if I stop, everything falls apart. Now, if you've lived several years, a long time, you know that when you look back at your life, if you are working from or showing up from a scarcity place, when your cup is empty, you haven't filled your cup, you haven't rested, you haven't taken time out of your busy schedule to truly rest and disconnect, and you don't fill your cup, you are pouring yourself out of emptiness. So it doesn't last, and it causes you to get sick, to mentally, emotionally struggle. You start to think about quitting because you can't keep up. You can't keep working and going and growing at the pace that you are. Or you are trying everything and nothing is working. That comes from not having a full to overflowing cup to pour into the thing that you love. Okay? And you don't have to keep chasing that dream. I heard it said recently that you have to build the business around your life, not your life around your business. Somebody super wise, who's done this for over a decade has shared that. And her community hear her and then share it with others. Because how true is that? If you cannot build your business into your life, into your already existing life, and you're trying to build your life around your business, that's not sustainable. That is not sustainable. There's a problem. Okay? You cannot create peaceful from constant panic. You might still produce, but eventually creativity starts drying up. Hi, Ellie. Why I feel I needed to listen to this. I'm glad you're here. It's kind of like standing in a river. At first you think, I'm controlling the flow. But if you're not careful, the current gets stronger and stronger until eventually the flow is controlling you. And I think that's where a lot of creators are right now. Have you ever felt like your brain could not shut off from your business? Has that happened to anybody? And I think one of the biggest reasons for that is because social media has convinced creators that consistency means constant motion. It's that hamster wheel, that continuous go, 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 go. And it doesn't feel right. Like, I get questions from people in my community. It doesn't feel right. Like, I don't know what it is, but it doesn't feel right. I don't mean to slap anyone in the face right now. You're welcome, Bettina. Consistency does not mean constant motion. This one right here, I need people to really, really hear. Consistency does not mean do nonstop until you burn yourself out. Busy does not mean productive. Nonstop posting, panic posting, trying to master every platform, changing strategies constantly, over consuming information. Is anybody feeling like they're on information overload? Like, if I'm not doing this, here, I'm not showing up. I'm not doing it right. Does anybody feel that way? It's a lot. It's a lot. And we are overwhelmed. Some creators aren't building intentionally anymore. They're reacting emotionally. And that's different. That's so different. One good video, you post one good video that gets a lot of attention, and you feel all of a sudden hopeful, right? One low view video and suddenly you're questioning your entire business. That's emotional building. This week has been a challenge because I wanted to do everything. Ellie, that's impossible. That is not doable. And that's why you probably feel overwhelmed, totally like, I can't, right? Hi, Nanette. That's not sustainable. That is not sustainable. Guys, you need to figure out how to show up consistently before the big season comes, before that fourth quarter comes. That way you can be consistent and you can get the sales. Because let me tell you something, there's enough customers out here for everyone. For everyone. You are not behind, I promise. You need to figure out one thing at a time, how to show up consistently on one platform at a time, which means that you start the flow going there, right? And then once you feel comfortable and confident with that, start the next one. That is sustainable. You can do that successfully, okay? Been sad because I'm not putting the product that I need, but also feel peace in God's timing. Understood, Nanette. I get that. I get that. Let's discuss the psychology of questioning your entire business based on your videos not consistently doing well, okay? There's a dopamine cycle, okay? There's validation from notifications. There's emotional dependence on metrics. Nervous system dysregulation. Your value cannot rise and fall with analytics. That's dangerous emotionally, okay? Think about the people that have been doing this for 5+ years. Okay, we're going to do 5+ years. The people that have been doing this consistently for 5+ years. If you've been part of their journey, if you've watched their journey, you've seen them pivot, change, grow, succeed. pivot again, change, grow, succeed. If you are not changing what you are doing to fit what's happening in your life at that time, you're going to stunt your growth. Okay, remember, we're building a business that fits our life, not a life that fits our business. Okay, that's important. That matters. Okay. Have you ever opened Pinterest looking for one idea, and 3 hours later, you've convinced yourself you need to rebrand your business, paint your craft room, buy 6 new ribbons, learn 5 new techniques, start a YouTube channel, and somehow become an entirely different person? Because same. And there's a psychology behind that as well. Too much inspiration without intentionality creates confusion. Your brain was never designed to consume endless ideas nonstop. Your brain cannot consume that much. Okay? You cannot consume your way into clarity. And at some point, you have to stop consuming and start building. Your business is not going to look like the stuff that you see. Your business is not going to look like all the creators that are out here. Your business is going to be different because you're different. Because everything that you have done and been a part of in your life up to this point has made you who you are. And that's unique. So don't try to be like everybody else. Don't try to fit in everywhere. Okay? You need to create from a place of this fits me. This makes sense to me. I can show up like this. That's what matters. That's what builds. Okay? Telling you, we do this to ourselves. Too much consumption is not good. One of the biggest emotional reactions creators have is that scarcity mindset. And I talked about this. I talked about this scarcity versus growth mindset. Exactly, Nanette. Your business is going to look different from others. Absolutely. Scarcity mindset is quietly crushing creators. Those that have had so much potential, those that were so unique, those that were coming in and being themselves and showing up as themselves, because nobody's asking you to show up like anybody other than you. Okay? So what if you talk different? So what if you don't do yourself up every time you create? So what? Show up as you. People like authentic people. They're drawn to you. They don't even know why they like you. They just do. You make them happy. Every time they're around you, they leave feeling good about themselves. They feel energized. They feel so seen, heard, noticed, right? So we need to understand that people will show up for that way for us as well. People will show up for that way for us as well. But we also have to understand that if we are not true to ourselves, if we are not authentic to who we are, people see that as well. We can't fake it till we make it. Not when we're on camera, not when we're showing up, not all of those things. You have to be authentic to you and show up that way. So let's talk about that scarcity mindset, okay? Because I know this one personally. You have that fear of missing out, that panic buying, the supply hoarding, that emotional spending, the shrinking spaces, the inventory overwhelm, Ellie said, I know I am myself and I love it, but also I need constant movement. I get that, Ellie. I get that. You walk into your craft room planning to create and suddenly you're just overwhelmed. You're starting an unfinished you're staring. Okay, you're staring at unfinished products, piles of ribbon, boxes everywhere, forgotten supplies, things you forgot you even bought. And then you think, what happened in here? How often have you seen people posting stuff of cleaning out their craft area, cleaning out their craft room, getting themselves organized, and you see the bags upon bags upon bags of items that they even forgot that they had, that they forgot that they bought? It happens. It happens. And that's that scarcity mindset, that panic buying, the if it's on sale, I have to get it. There'll always be another sale. You got to write that on a sticky note somewhere. Big, bold letters. There will always be another sale. Know what you have. Plan designs for what you already have. Create it. Okay? Don't do what most of us do. We have to understand it to heal from it, to fix it. Okay? If you don't know why you do what you do, you'll continue to do it. So you have to understand it to then fix it and heal from it, okay? Sometimes buying supplies feels productive. Sometimes buying creates that dopamine, that hope, that excitement, temporary motivation. And sometimes supplies become emotional security blankets. Shona says, great advice. I need to hear this, especially about the sales. Yeah. Yeah, somebody else cleaning out their inventory to make room for more. Those are our suppliers. That's why they put stuff on such severe sales, is because they need to move it so that they can get newer stuff in. And then we're buying everything that they're getting rid of because we have that scarcity mindset. And listen, there's nothing wrong with shopping sales. I highly recommend that you are smart and get things at a discount. Not saying that that's not good, but for some people, that's all they're doing. All they're doing is shopping. It's too much. It's overwhelming. It's overconsumption can stunt creativity. It will make you stop creating because there's too much. Okay, and I'm talking to myself. As much as I'm saying this to the community, I'm talking to myself. I get overwhelmed trying to keep up with what everyone is creating. Why are you trying to keep up with what everybody's creating? Now, there is a reason why creators create when they create, because they need to, especially if they have an online storefront, they need to get stuff into their shops so that they can be part of the algorithm when people are shopping for those items. So that stuff is true. You have to make stuff to have enough time for it to be in the algorithm, because our Etsy shops, Google, all of those things, there's an actual search engine. Etsy's a search engine. Pinterest is a search engine. Google is a search engine. So if you don't have stuff made, you're not going to be part of the algorithm that shows people your stuff. I'm doing episodes every week, and this week I talk about this. Awesome, Ellie. Buy with intention. Use what you have. Yes, Ellie, absolutely. Absolutely. But there's a reason why we have to create when we create, so that we can get things up in our online shops in time for things to be found. Okay, that's how we're going to get those sales. Nanette says, very true what you say, don't have store. I feel like I'm behind in July 4th. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, because this year it's such a big celebration. Yeah. That's the reason, so I can have it in my shop. Yes. Yes. But if you're running on that scarcity mindset, trying to chase all the things that are being created, where's the joy in that? Is your creativity suffering because of it? Are you able to make things in time mentally? Are you enjoying the process? Are you enjoying what you're doing? You have to ask yourself these questions, okay? So that you can learn and adjust and shift. So I left off with supplies sometimes become emotional security blankets. Some people are shopping for possibilities, not because they actually need more inventory. How many of us have inventory management? How many of us shop intentionally? Are you buying for business needs? Are you understanding actual customer behavior? These are all things that are important. Bye, Mary. I'll talk to you soon. Platforms like Etsy love repeatability. They like recognizable products, multiples, consistency. But here's the danger. If you hate making the thing that sells, eventually creativity starts dying. You become a production machine instead of an artist. Is anybody hearing this? Is this hitting anybody? You can become successful at selling something and still lose the joy of creating. It's like opening a bakery because you love baking, and then one cupcake flavor becomes popular. So now all day, every day, you make that cupcake. Eventually, you stop loving baking. That's what happens to creators too. Have you ever bought supplies thinking they were going to magically fix your creative block? Like, this is going to be it. This is going to be what gets me out of this creative block. And honestly, when people start feeling emotionally overwhelmed, they start looking outside themselves for direction. It happens to every single creative. It does. And you have to understand how normal that is. How absolutely normal it is to be in a creative rut. Right now, I am creating items for my daughter's wedding. And I actually asked her, I said, does everything have to be matchy-matchy? And she said no. As long as the color palette stays the same, it doesn't all have to be matchy-matchy. I am so grateful. I am so thankful that I don't have to make the same thing over and over and over again, because I have gray hair, but you would see this girl pulling her hair out. Sometimes I feel happy to go to my craft room, and sometimes I feel like I don't want to go. Yeah, Nanette, and that's the problem. You don't want what you find joy in to become a place you don't even want to go to, because that's therapeutic. Creating with your hands is so therapeutic. It's so healthy for you to create with your hands. And at some point, at any point, when that starts to become a chore or a job, it can feel off, and you have to recognize it for what it is so that you can then work on that, right? To flip it around, to rest, to do something different, to get out of your comfort. You have a big event to get ready. You love doing your wreaths. I love that. Okay. So when you start feeling overwhelmed, you look outside of yourself for direction, right? And this is where community comes in, right? And you become what you stay immersed in. This is where community really matters. And not enough people talk about this. Community influence is huge. If you're constantly hearing negativity, because they're having sales flying out the door, but it's for the same design. And they're having to create the same thing over and over and over again. And they've lost the joy for it. And that's all you're hearing. Meanwhile, you're thinking to yourself, I would love to have all those sales, but would you really want to create the same thing over and over and over again? That's a real question. That's a real question. Your environment shapes your mindset. So if you can be around positivity, positive people, people that say, hey, when that happens, when I have a design that hits, because it happens to every creator, when you have a design that hits that people really like, that they want more of, so you find yourself creating that item over and over and over again, you have to be around people that can tell you, hey, when I got into that slump, I would just pause that design, make something creative. That helps me. You need to be around people that can encourage you when things get hard, because that's what's going to turn it around for you. You cannot be around the comparison culture. You cannot be around people that are constantly comparing themselves to somebody else. You also can't be around people that begrudge your success, that they look at you and it must be nice. That wears on you. Like, you don't even want to share that something good has happened to you because of how the reaction is. And the truth of the matter is, what you are doing, how you are succeeding, does not take one thing away from anybody else. So you celebrate those wins. You high five those wins. Okay? You are doing a fantastic job. You earned it. You deserve it. And you deserve to celebrate every step of the way. I am so proud of you and your success. Okay? That means something. That means that what you've been doing has worked for you. Okay? Don't let anything that you do steal that joy from you. Okay? What you do matters. You have put the work in. Okay? Social pressure. Don't be pressured into doing something that you know that right now will not work for you, that you cannot make it work right now. Doesn't mean that you won't make it work later. It doesn't mean that it's not something you should be doing. If right now that causes you any type of anxiety or pulls you away or makes you feel some kind of way that isn't good, put a pin in it. Put a pin in it. Just because it's not now doesn't mean it's not for later. Okay? So don't get pressured into doing things that you are not ready for. Emotional contagion. Okay? If you are in an environment that constantly is bringing you down, constantly talking about others, constantly pointing out what everybody else is doing, that's not healthy. That is not healthy. You cannot sustain an emotional maturity or wherewithal if you're constantly in that kind of environment. You have to pull away from it. You have to put yourself in places and do things that actually keep you positive, keep you thinking, okay, if you try something and it doesn't work out, it doesn't mean you failed. It just means that didn't work. Pivot and try again. Do something different, change it up, try again. Okay? Because ideas are good ideas. Doesn't mean that the idea isn't good. It just means the execution may need to be fixed a little bit. And you can do it. You can do it. Okay? You have to know yourself enough to know what kind of community you need. What kind of community do you need? What kind of people do you want to surround yourself with? For one, I want to surround myself with people that are smarter than me, have figured things out for themselves, are willing to share their knowledge, pass on the baton, Somebody will always be ahead of you, and there will always be somebody behind you. Okay? There are things that you can learn from others, and there are things that people can learn from you. Okay? That is how we all get successful. That's how we all succeed. It takes work. It does. It takes a lot of work. That's true leadership, and people need to understand that. Right, Ellie? That is true leadership, and it is important. Okay? We can always pass on our knowledge to others, but we also have to be constantly learning. Okay? Sharing and supporting. Hi, Michelle. Sharing and supporting matters. Okay? Humans naturally adapt to environments, meaning if everybody around you is panicking, you panic. If everyone around you is competing, you compete. If everybody around you is constantly overwhelmed, you start to normalize burnout. You have to be mindful at who you are allowing to be close to what you are doing. Okay? You need people that are life preservers, that help keep you afloat when you start to sink, right? You need people that aren't anchoring you down. They can't anchor. You cannot have anchors. You cannot have weights on your legs. You have to have people that are either on the same path as you, they're ahead of you, but you cannot let things bring you down. You can't. It's not sustainable. It is not sustainable. Healthy community should regulate you, not dysregulate you. You should leave community spaces feeling encouraged, inspired, supported. You should have clearer thinking, not emotionally drained. Okay? The voices speaking into your life matter. The voices speaking into your life matter. You need cheerleaders. You need people that see you for what you're doing and encourage you to keep going. That encourage you to keep going. You know, sometimes you have something that you want to do and you don't know how to do it, and you have people that say, hey, I did it this way, this might work for you. Okay? Or this is what I listened to, this is what I looked at, this is what I read, this is what guided me, this is what helped me. That helps. It's all part of it. It's all part of it. Okay? Healthy mentorship looks like wisdom, sustainability, encouragement, honesty, pacing, balance, helping you think clearly. Everybody needs that in their life. Everybody needs somebody that can say, hey, I know that you're trying to do fill in the blank. Have you thought about doing this? I can see you succeeding doing fill in the blank. Because a lot of people have that ability to see and see what you can be doing that you can't even see for yourself. It's called the mirror. They can hold up a mirror for you. Be mindful of who you're listening to. Have discernment in what is being said to you. Pray about it. Say, hey, I see what you're saying. I need to see if this aligns with what I need to be working on, but thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay? Unhealthy influence looks like fear-based urgency, constant pressure, manipulation, dependency, comparison, and feeling perpetually behind. Guys, if you are part of a teaching group that gives you challenges, those challenges should better you. Those challenges should show you how far you've come, how much better you've been, because a lot of times we don't even see that, because the only thing you should be comparing is who you were to who you are today. That's the only comparison that's healthy, is when you can see this is where I was, this is how I invested in myself, and this is where I am today because of that. Okay, that's a healthy comparison. You compare you to the you that you were, to see your growth, to see how far you've come. Okay, that's healthy. The right mentor should help you think clearly, not constantly make you feel inadequate. Okay, you need to trust that the person that you are entrusting your journey to, the one that's coaching you, mentoring you, leading you, wants the best for you, wants you to grow and skyrocket your business, because each one of you are so incredibly talented. You are so incredibly talented. Your artistry shows in the designs that you make and the things that you do. And you have to believe that about you. But the person that you're entrusting to coach you along, to mentor you along, you need to have them looking out for the best in you, that is guiding you the right way, that's giving you good information, okay? That's not pacifying you, okay? That's not just giving you fluff situations that are unclear. The person that you're entrusting, the group that you're part of, you're entrusting your time to, needs to encourage you not to do things like others, but to uniquely stay within what you do. Because like I said, everybody is uniquely, excuse me, talented. Water. Wow. I'm just encouraging people. I don't need to lose my voice over it. Excuse me. You know what this reminds me of? Raising children. Goodness, I'm so sorry. Sometimes that happens. Okay. It's like raising children. Imagine raising children where all you do is feed them, give them a place to sleep, keep them alive, but never teach wisdom. They'll figure life out eventually, but not always in healthy ways. And honestly, that's what's happening online sometimes. Creators are drowning in information, but starving for wisdom. People are learning algorithms, viral hooks, editing, posting strategies, but not learning peace and balance and boundaries, discernment and sustainability. And that says everyone is unique. Do what you do best. You're sharing a great word. Thanks, friend. Hustle culture teaches people how to produce. Wisdom teaches people how to sustain. And eventually, if you stay in survival mode too long, your identity starts getting tangled up in your business. When your business becomes your identity, this right here is dangerous emotionally. Still not done with the tickle. Water. See, this is important conversation. That's why I'm all choked up right now. In a minute, you're going to see tears come out of my eyes. I'm trying so hard not to choke. Tying your self-worth to sales. Emotional reactions to views. Low engagement feeling personal. Inability to separate self from business. Guys, do not tie your self-worth to sales. No. The only reason, oh my gosh, that was a tear that fell. I'm not emotional, I'm just coughing. I'm coughing, which is causing me to look emotional. Maybe this is a segment that I need to look emotional in. I'm not sure. But do not tie your self-worth to sales, okay? You matter. What you make matters, okay? If stuff isn't selling, it's because people aren't seeing them. Your customer isn't seeing your item. That's the reason it's not selling. It's not because what you're making isn't worth it, or isn't beautiful, or isn't something that somebody wants. Your customer wants it. They just don't know where to find it. Okay? Emotional reaction to views. Guys, if you are focusing on people hitting that like, commenting on your stuff, if you think about it, when you are actually doing the scroll, how many times are you hitting like on stuff? How many times are you commenting on people's stuff? Or are you just in that brainless scroll? Well, understand other people are doing the exact same thing. We have become so brain numb to the actual people that are behind that screen, the actual businesses or people that are posting things to try to get your attention. We have become overwhelmed by everything being done, the entertainment portion of it. So if you don't do it, if you find that you're not sitting there hitting like when you laugh at something, or like when you think something's pretty, or like when it's your friend, or whatever it is, understand that people aren't doing it back for you. So do not tie your identity to the lack of. To the lack of. Do not let low engagement feel personal. Do not let low engagement feel personal. A lot of people just consume things, okay? They don't engage. My daughter, my youngest, worked in the service industry at restaurants. You know the surveys that you get at checkout on those little kiosk thingies that says at the end of your transaction, will you take a survey? And you can't be bothered, right? You're just like, I left a tip, right? Did you know that servers' schedules are based on those surveys? If you're not filling out surveys for those servers, they can be written up for you not, they could have given you the best service. And if you didn't fill out that survey, they get dinged. I didn't know that. When I worked in the service industry, that wasn't a thing. We didn't have those kiosks at the tables. People weren't filling out surveys. Did you know that if you don't fill out a survey for that server, that they might not get scheduled for good shifts, even though they're excellent servers? I had no idea. So you better believe that once I knew better, I did better. Those surveys are there for a reason. Okay? Those surveys are there for a reason. Fill them out. Okay? When you support a content creator, somebody who's out here, you're supporting an actual person that is putting their stuff out there. Okay? not just for your consumption, but they're trying to build something. Hitting that like button doesn't cost you anything, just like filling out that survey doesn't cost you anything, but it does help that individual. So be mindful of those things, okay? Just be mindful. It helps to figure those things out. When you know better, you do better. That's just part of it, right? When your identity gets wrapped into your business, rest feels unsafe. Because if your worth comes from your productivity, slowing down feels like failure. I've actually been guilty of this. I've actually heard other creators be guilty of this. When you're in your craft room and you're just being creative, designing a new piece or designing something, and you didn't hit those cameras, you're thinking to yourself, this could be content. I'm missing out on content. I could be making content right now. You are a human being before you are a business owner. Not everything has to be about content. I don't want you losing the love for the creativity. I don't want you to be burnt out. Okay? So definitely make it sustainable for yourself. Whatever you are creating, you need to make it work for the life that you have so that you can create the life that you want. Okay? Your business needs to fit your life, not your life fit your business. Okay? One low sales month should not make you question your value as a person. But for a lot of creators, it does. Not every season is supposed to look the same. There are learning seasons. There are rebuilding seasons. There are slow seasons. There are growth seasons. There are rest seasons. Stop trying to build your business around somebody else's capacity. Your capacity is different. What you're able to do is different. It's not about your capacity. It's about what you can do consistently. It's about how you can show up consistently. It's not about your capacity. You can do great things. Yes, you can do all the things that you see the big creators do. But they didn't get there overnight. They built systems that worked for them. Okay? They figured how they could work it for themselves. And the reason why they're able to stay consistent is because they built their business into their life, not their life into their business. Okay, that's the only way to stay out here, stay relevant, and be sustainable, okay? A creator that works 9 to 5, raising children, caregiving, struggling emotionally, dealing with health issues, may build slower. That does not mean that they are failing. Big things do not have to happen all at once to still become big things. Okay, slow growth is still growth. Slow growth is still growth. And honestly, I think creators need permission. I think you need to give yourself permission. You need permission today to pause, permission to rest, permission to simplify, to pivot, to slow down, to outgrow environments that are not healthy for you, to redefine success, and to build differently. You need permission. You need permission. Allow yourself permission to do you, to figure it out for yourself. You don't have to be like everybody else to be as successful. You just don't. Pivoting is not failure. Sometimes pivoting is wisdom. It's wise. Okay? Sometimes it means that you're changing platforms, that you're changing your schedule, that you're simplifying your inventory, that you're restructuring your business. You're changing routines. You're changing your priorities. That's all okay. Healthy businesses evolve. They don't stay the same, they grow. As your life changes, your business changes with it. Not in spite of it, not because of it, but it changes with it. So hustle culture that you have to keep up, that you have to do, that you have to, it can actually do the opposite of what that's meant to do. You might grow for a little bit, but it's not sustainable. So then it falls back. Okay? It falls back. If you're going uphill, if you're climbing a hill, and at each point you don't build something there so that it doesn't fall back down, you're just going to keep going up and then back down, up and then back down, up and then back down. That's not sustainable. That doesn't work. It kind of wears everything out, wears everything thin. Okay? It's not sustainable. Let's talk about sustainability. The goal is not just to build something successful. The goal is to build something sustainable enough that you can still love it years from now. You want to still love this years from now. Okay? You don't want to be so overwhelmed and so crushed by everything that you're doing that nothing is sticking because you're trying to do too much. You're trying to keep up with people that have already been doing this much longer than you. They had to figure it out for themselves. They had to figure out where they could be sustainable, where they could grow, where they could build it right. Okay, and it's different for everybody. It's absolutely different for each person. There is room for your business to grow slowly, intentionally, peacefully, but most of all, it's sustainably, because it's yours, and yours is not going to look like somebody else's. It's different for everybody. Okay? When you get that idea, when you have an idea, whatever that idea may be, it could be for a design, it could be for how to show up differently, for how to be in the community, for how to do whatever, fill in the blank, okay? If you get that idea and immediately you have ideas that follow that idea, and you don't have somebody cheering you on going, that's a fabulous idea, that's going to be great, that's going to work really well, I can see you doing this, this, and this, have you thought about this, this, and this? If you don't have that in your life, get it. Make that a priority. Make it important. Okay? Don't just let life happen for your business. Okay? Be intentional about where you put yourself. Be intentional about who you listen to. Okay? Those that want to see you grow and succeed will cheer you on. Okay? They will cheer you on. They will uplift you, and they will definitely not discourage you. And that's important. You don't have to become successful overnight to become successful eventually. And isn't that what we all want? We all want to be successful in what we do. Okay? Your business should support your life. Your life should not disappear inside your business. I think a whole lot of creators are carrying pressure they were never meant to carry alone. Pressure to constantly produce, pressure to constantly perform, pressure to constantly prove themselves. And somewhere along the way, peace got replaced with pressure. But I want y'all to hear me clearly today. You are allowed to grow at your pace. You are allowed to build slowly. You are allowed to pivot. You are allowed to change things that no longer fit your life. You are allowed to protect your peace while still building something meaningful. Big things do not have to happen all at once to still become big things. So if you can share eventually, because this will be on YouTube, what part of this real talk hit you the hardest today? What's one thing you know you need to change? Are you building intentionally, or are you reacting emotionally? Thank you so much for hanging out with me today for Real Talk with Claudia. I appreciate every single one of you so much. And I hope today reminded somebody that success does not have to come wrapped in burnout. And next week on Real Talk with Claudia, we're going to talk about profit versus popularity. I know that's weird, but you don't have to be popular to see profit. You don't have to have your name out there everywhere to see a profit. There are people building successful businesses quietly that you've never heard of, that have been doing this a long time, way longer than a lot of us have. And they're not popular, but they're building a very successful business. So we're going to talk about that next week. And until then, we'll see you on Real Talk, okay? You guys have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye, Bettina. Bye, friends. Bye, Shona.